The University of Washington was founded in 1861 in Seattle, Washington, and is one of the oldest public institutions on the West Coast. The university holds around 46,000 students a year and is consistently ranked as one of the top 20 universities worldwide. The UW is a member of the Association of American Universities and is home to the Michael G. Foster School of Business. In the 2017 fiscal year, the UW received $1.63 billion in total rewards from 843 funding sources. How did we come up with our problem? We met as a group and Mackenzie's friend FaceTimed her, complaining about one of her professors at her university, and made a point to mention that the professor was tenured. When Mackenzie told us this, we thought it would be interesting to study the effects of tenure. So our question is, does tenure affect professors' performance at the UW Foster School of Business? At the UW, tenure is a process outlined in the Faculty Code and Governance. A group of voting members in the appropriate department decides whether or not to recommend promotion. Qualifications should not be based on length of service. The candidate's entire record will be considered for promotion. The final decision relies on the department dean if the decision is favorable. With tenure, UW professors gain more money and leniency in research topics. So why does this matter? We believe that because it directly affects professors, that it must directly affect their students. Therefore, the Foster School of Business should be aware of how it affects its own students. For our research, we conducted interviews with Elizabeth Umpris, a tenured professor, as well as Dan Olson, a non-tenured professor, and looked at student evaluations. For the purpose of this project, the interviews served as opinions from both tenured and non-tenured professors, and to hear their views on the topic. Student evals were used to value student perceptions and professors' overall performance ratings. When interviewing Elizabeth Umpris, she had this to say about her experience on tenure. The question asked was, do you personally believe that tenure is beneficial to faculty? Where she responded, very much. I believe it doesn't relate to teaching at all. Tenure allows teachers to ask more challenging and confrontational research questions. Tenure gives teachers a sense of protection when it comes to asking research questions. One of the other questions asked was, has your teaching styles changed since you knew you were tenured? Where she responded, my teaching styles have not changed since I was tenured. I still strive to provide the best service for my students, and I will continue to do so. While Dan Olson had the same opinion to the question of the benefit of tenure to faculty, he had a difference of opinion for the second question. Here is what he had to say.
Has your teaching style changed, sort of knowing that you're not tenured?
I think that it provides me with a little bit more of an incentive to make short-term investments in my courses. I'm not looking to overhaul the courses or take risks with the classes that I'm teaching. Right? I'm not going to do dramatic overhauls or significantly innovate the curriculum or do something that I think is risky, where it could work out and I do great or it could work poorly. Instead, I think that the kinds of changes that I make to my classes are more incremental and designed to try and boost student perceptions of the class because those ratings are more important. I think that post-tenure, I think I'd be more willing to take a risk with a class and restructure it in ways that might be really valuable, but also could fail.
When we were looking at student evaluations, we looked at Elizabeth Umpris' evaluations first. Here we can see that less than half of her students filled out the evaluation. However, she has very high ratings regarding all performance aspects for this class. We also see that in her other class, where 100% of her students responded, her scores were slightly lower but still relatively very good ratings. In her last class, just a third of her students were represented, but yet still show high scores. Dan Olson, on the other hand, only had 2 course evaluations, where he had a high percentage of his students fill out the evals. His scores were lower, but still very good on the median scale. Lastly, in this other evaluation, where he had more students respond, he had higher scores that reflected closely to Elizabeth Umpris' ratings.
Hi, Star. I was wondering if you could walk me through our project results?
Yeah, no problem. We found that we don't see a direct correlation between the institution of tenure and professor performance. This is because we believe that non-tenure professors are less willing to take risks, but still look at tenure as an incentive and future reward. However, tenured professors are more likely to take risks with their students but do not have more incentive to work harder for any future benefits.
Oh, okay, that totally makes sense. And it totally relates to the cognitive evaluation theory and the 3 types of performances.
Absolutely. Let me know if you need any more help.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for the help.
Bye!
The first OB theory that relates to our topic is cognitive evaluation theory. In our case, the extrinsic motivator is tenure, which has benefit of research funds and job security. The intrinsic motivators from tenure are a sense of meaningfulness and impact through their work. In our case, external benefits come in the form of more money and research and freedom with research interpretation. When a professor receives tenure, their motivation increases in some ways and decreases in others. They are no longer working for the external benefit, but for the intrinsic freedom that tenure provides their research. On the other hand, once professors receive tenure, they may focus more on taking on more challenging research topics instead of focusing on teaching. Before you become a tenured professor, the external motivators are job security and research freedom, while the internal motivators are helping students perform better in the classroom, which will hopefully coincide with higher course evaluations. Contrarily, tenured professors only have internal motivators. The main one is improving the complexity of their research, which means they may be more focused on research than teaching. Another OB theory that relates to our topic is the impact of performance and commitment. The main components of the theory are in-role performance, external performance, and commitment. In-role performance can be broken down into 2 categories: creative task performance and routine task performance. In this case, creative task performance is more prevalent among tenured professors because they tend to use their resources to provide different ways to teach. Routine task performance is more popular among non-tenured professors because they have significantly less job security. Extra role performance relates to our research question because both tenured and non-tenured professors engage in OCB to boost UW's reputation as a research-run facility and the credibility of their research. On the commitment side, effective commitment is the most relevant to our research topic. Tenured and non-tenured professors engage with effective commitment, the strongest form of organizational commitment, because they both have the freedom to leave the university. Finally, tenured and non-tenured professors engage in similar performance roles. However, tenured professors can engage in creative task performance instead of routine task performance. Overall, this means that students receive the same level of professor engagement at all times, but it is presented in different ways depending on the professor's tenure status.
Thank you for watching. Will there be any questions?